There was a South American civilization. It goes back to the Olmec tribe as one of the calls. There's a few other tribes mentioned around that time. Sometime 3,300 BC. So roughly 5,000 years ago, they began creating a calendar called, we now call it the Mayan calendar, but it was credited to the Olmec civilizations. This was all going on while the Middle East was playing Middle Eastern games. China was playing Chinese dynasty games back in the day. People were struggling up in the northern areas, northern territories of any nation because an ice age was receding. These are the good old days. Remember back, 5, 6, 7,000 years ago? It might have been 10, 20, 30, 100 past lives if that's how you got here. So that Olmec civilization created a calendar that is more precise still than the Gregorian calendar we use. This calendar thought comes about because of this notion of the Middle East being the cradle of much of anything, let alone everything. But those other civilizations were doing and being. It's supposed that the wheel may have come from those Chinese cultures and societies. We know gunpowder did. They had gunpowder before we did because we sent missionaries in there to try to steal the recipe for gunpowder. Missionaries are useful tools too. But this huge parallel civilization on a separate continent 5,000 years ago made a calendar more precise than what man uses today. There's some irony in these thoughts, these other civilizations and peoples. So, I'd be the Olmec, I suppose. But I don't trace through any of that lineage until we get back to somewhere in Asia and those good old days. We're that old. We've been here this long. These things are not easy to understand, but it's interesting because this is a units of measurement conversation, how we measure things. The Chinese have their own calendar. The year is 4718, I think. The Mayans had their own calendar. And it's spoken epics. It's an amazing history to go read, and you'll find many divergent dates associated with it. I mentioned 3,300 BC as being the creation date of the Mayan calendar according to one source, then another source says, well, it all started 2,000 years ago. Which one do you believe? So, interesting world out there. Huge world. We've survived this far. Haircuts and all. Pieces out. We got the wrong calendar, too. Holy cow.